Uh-oh. Okay, we'll start with this. We now know who reigning WBO Super Flyweight champion Mizuki Hiruta is going to be fighting early next year on the undercard of a 360 promotion show, 360 Promotions. That's Tom Loeffler. The same Tom Loeffler that used to promote Gennady Golovkin. He still promotes shows on the West Coast. And he's promoting this one where Mizuki Hiruta will be taking on former champion of Mexico, Maribel Ramirez, in defense of her WBO title. Mizuki Hiruta, 28 years old to Maribel, who's 38. Maribel is 10 years older, though many fights and many rounds, more experienced as a professional than Mizuki. Mizuki, who is a southpaw, Maribel, who is an orthodox fighter. She used to be WBA champion, but she lost the WBA title to Argentinia's own Clara Lescurat, who still reigns as WBA champion here today. That fight, that took place about close to 3 years ago. Close to 3 years later, she's vying to become WBO champion. An interesting tidbit is that when Clara beat Maribel, she had about as many fights as Mizuki has now. She only had about 6 fights. It's not a lot. Mizuki Hiruta, who sports a professional record of 6 wins with no losses, no draws, 2 knockouts, a strong puncher who's been spending some time in America, training under the watchful eye of Manny Robles and soaking in Mexican culture, which we've talked about in a previous video, that given Mizuki's way of fighting a fight, Mexican pressure fighting, it suits her. Now, she'll be taking on a Mexican fighter, a former champion in Maribel Ramirez, who sports a professional record of 15 wins with 10 losses, 4 draws, 3 knockouts, having been knocked out 4 times in 29 professional bouts. Last in action in July of this year opposite the ring, Michelle Preston, who she beat by way of a unanimous decision. That's the only fight that she had all of this year, but she has seen action within the last 12 months, so there's really no ring rust she needs to shake off. So I know that Maribel lost to a 6-0 Clara Lescurat, and that she's lost to the likes of Daniela Asenjo, Linda Leica, Bobby Juarez, Naoko Fujioka. She's lost to a lot of fighters, but I still don't view this fight as a foregone conclusion. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Mizuki Hiruta wins. I still feel like she's going to have to earn the victory. This is her U.S. debut, and the very first time that she will be boxing outside of her native Japan. The night of the fight, it will have been a year's time since Mizuki saw action. She was last in action in January of this year opposite the ring Ji Hyun Park, who she stopped in 6 rounds, though unfortunately Mizuki was not able to fight again after that. So going in, it will have been roughly a year's time since she saw action, though she didn't piss away the time. She didn't squander it. As stated, she's been spending some time in America, broadening her horizons. She's enlisted the aid of Manny Robles. This will be a chance for Mizuki to put on display everything she's learned so far. It's still a dicey situation because she doesn't have a lot of fights, and she's making her U.S. debut against a fighter who's a lot more experienced than she is, albeit many years older. So it's really not a foregone conclusion that Mizuki wins, though I hope she does, because she's a character. Of the 4 current reigning champions in the super flyweight division here today, Mizuki is the one that stands out the most charismatic, the most fun to watch. So we'll see how she makes out. You get the sense that if Mizuki wins this fight, Tom Loeffler and the people at 360 Promotions might bring her back to have one or two more fights on 360 Promotions shows. All she's got to do is make it through this one, make it past Maribel Ramirez.
And I don't think she came to America to dick around.
I think it says a lot about her and the earnestness of her efforts that she came here, not really speaking the language, decided to train with Manny Robles.
I think it was smart.
Shows her dedication. So while it's not a foregone conclusion that Mizuki wins, I am still leaning towards her because she's fresh, she's young, she punches hard, and she's got her heart and her head in the right place.
Look for Mizuki Hiruta versus Maribel Ramirez early next year in January on the 17th on UFC Fight Pass.
Over to the men's super lightweight division, where Richardson Hitchins is set to make his first defense of his newly obtained IBF title, and he's gone as far as calling out reigning WBO champion Teofimo Lopez. Richardson Hitchins is eyeing a fight with Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. Hitchins is coming off the best win of his career. He entered the Liam Botto fight with plenty to prove. He had just secured an unconvincing win against Gustavo Lemos. Hitchins went the distance, whereas Lemos would get knocked out in just 2 rounds by Keyshawn Davis the fight after that. But Hitchins proved his critics wrong to beat Botto and claim the IBF title. Hitchins can now focus on securing a mega fight.
I think he's going to struggle in that department.
A fight with Lopez would be a unification. Teo holds the WBO title. The Takeover won the belt after beating the former undisputed champion at 140, Josh Taylor. Lopez beat Steve Claggett in his previous fight to defend it. Teofimo has been chasing the Terrence Crawford fight, but Bud has eyes on boxing Canelo Alvarez at 168. Reports have also come in to say Lopez is close to announcing a fight with former IBF champion Subriel Matias. If the Lopez fight does not happen, Haney could be an option. Haney is looking for his next fight after his no contest in April against Ryan Garcia. Haney was dropped 3 times as he suffered a majority decision loss, luckily for Haney. The result became a no contest once Garcia failed VADA tests for Osterin. Haney has been linked with several fights for his next bout. Liam Botto was one of those names mentioned when the Australian was the IBF champion. Liam Botto said that Haney priced himself out. There were also reports linking Haney with a fight against Teofimo, and yet Lopez shut down those claims. Haney is looking to secure the biggest fight on his return, although the Garcia rematch is the primary one that he should want to take. He is unlikely to get that immediately in his next fight. That means a fight against Hitchins could offer another world title for Haney, putting him in a stronger position to rematch Garcia, who has yet to win a world title. But if Hitchins had a choice, Lopez would be the primary target. I don't care about Devin Haney. I'm the champ. He's not a champion no more. If he wants a chance to get a title, tell him to come talk to me. The tables are turned.
So Devin Haney is currently entangled in some kind of a love triangle between himself, his significant other, and rapper Young Thug.
I personally didn't spend a lot of time on it because I can care less about Devin Haney's love life. I'm struggling to care about his boxing career, much less what he has going on outside of the ring. But that's what's been going on with Devin.
Richardson Hitchins says the tables have turned because he's a champion now at 140 and Devin isn't.
He's entertaining a fight with Devin, but he has his heart set on a fight with Teofimo. We've got to see each other. Tell them to come see me. Violence on Christmas. I'm not even going to talk about Devin Haney because I'm not going to kick him while he's down. He's going through a lot. He's going through a lot of mental stuff right now. Teofimo definitely has to see me. We was on FaceTime the other day, and he says he was going to fight me in 2025.
So think about what Teofimo's doing. He's negotiating a fight with Subriel Matias in defense of his 140-pound title, and he told Richardson Hitchins that they would fight in the coming year. By all accounts, Teo's not leaving 140.
He said he was fighting me. He said, this is the fight that boxing needs, so let's see if he's lying. If he's lying, I'm gonna be mad. He said Boots ran from him. You better not run. What is Boots running from him for? Boots ain't running from that boy. Teo is just talking. I'm tired of talking about these bums, Hitchins said.
I have to agree with Richardson Hitchins.
Listen, Teofimo said that they made a play to have a Jaron Ennis fight, and Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn confirmed it.
So he wasn't lying.
But do you honestly think Boots is scared of Teofimo? This is the guy who lost to George Kambosos. This is the guy who's looked bang average
in 4 out of his last 5 fights. Don't overcomplicate things because it's a simple question. Do you think Boots is scared of Teofimo?
I don't. You talk about a Lopez versus Hitchins fight. Stylistically, that fight don't favor Teofimo either. Teofimo struggles with pure boxers, cerebral fighters. That's what Richardson Hitchins is, and Hitchins knows his boxing. He knows what Teofimo's Achilles heel is.
Movers and jabbers.
So Teofimo is in the process of finalizing a fight with Subriel Matias, and credit to him because that actually is a good fight. I don't think it should be on pay-per-view, but it is a good fight.
Stylistically, that's a better fight for Teofimo. Emphasis on stylistically, that he's got the right style for a come-forward volume puncher.
Stylistically, he's got the edge, but physically, I'm not so sure. Teofimo has not proven to be the same puncher at 140 that he was at 135. He doesn't land with the same authority that he used to. So if he's getting off his counters and they're landing, they're getting in, but he's not getting Subriel's respect, I don't know what's going to happen.
That's what just happened to a lesser extent with Steve Claggett. Teo won the fight, showed the better boxing, but he never really got Steve's respect. He never backed him off and backed him down, and we know he didn't stop him.
For 36 minutes, Steve Claggett was pressing forward, letting punches go, and getting all in Teofimo's wheelhouse. Is it far-fetched to say that Subriel is a more dangerous guy than he is, that he punches harder than Steve does, and that if you can't get his respect, you might be in trouble?
Is that far-fetched?
We'll see. A Richardson-Hitchins fight is not as dangerous, not necessarily, because you're not under much threat of being stopped by Richardson-Hitchins, but stylistically, it's still not a good fight for Teofimo because he struggles with movers and jabbers and counterpunchers, guys that are going to force Teofimo to come to them.
Richardson-Hitchins is very tall for the weight, very long for the weight, knows how to use his height and length.
His jab, he's economic, he doesn't throw that many punches, so you won't have many countering opportunities. It's a style that's all wrong for Teofimo. And you're thinking to yourself, well, he did just hire Eddie Reynoso, but Eddie's not a magician.
Teofimo hasn't even fought with him in his corner yet. We're going to be seeing that for the first time when he fights Matias.
How he looks. The bottom line here is, if I felt that Teofimo would win these fights without a shadow of a doubt, I would just say that, irrespective of what I think of him personally. But when you look bang average in 4 out of your last 5 fights, and the only guy you looked good against was coming off an injury and inactivity,
Josh Taylor,
tack on a gift decision, it's a little hard to have faith. The same faith that I used to have in Teofimo. I haven't had it for years.
I don't have it now.
It's not for love of Richardson Hitchins, because you guys know, I'm not a fan of pure boxers. I hate that style of fighting. And it's not for love of Subriel Matias. We know he's limited.
But it's the Teofimo is too.
He has his limitations too. He's not the dynamic fighter that he once was at 135. He hasn't looked that way in a long time.
I notice 1 or 2 guys always get mad at me when I say that, but what do you want me to say?
Could knock out Steve Claggett, for God's sake. Back over to Devin Haney. The love triangle between him, Lena Sayed, and Young Thug. Devin has since broken his silence on Instagram.
Devin is a lame.
The boxer hopped on social media Christmas Eve. He posted a photo of himself laying in bed and eating an apple. 2 designer bags are placed in front of him.
Because he's a bad bitch.
It is a photo designed to make its subject look unbothered. Devin Haney has been a talking point for Lena Sayed over the last day, so the desire to appear unfazed makes sense. Sayed claimed that she is totally loyal to her baby daddy.
Yeah, right.
And had not met him when she had the 2022 call with Young Thug. That video was before I met my baby daddy. Sayed wrote on her Instagram stories, I would never talk to Thug or any other man.
Yeah, right.
The Instagram model also swore that she remains faithful to Devin Haney despite the jail call. She also refuted the notion that she was a quote-unquote twin of Young Thug's a few years back. LOL, I'm nobody's twin. The Instagram model explained, I'm 100% down for my baby daddy with whatever he do and whoever else he messes with. That's why y'all are mad. Devin Haney and Lena Sayed are confirmed to be together based on the latter's social media comments. The exact nature of their relationship, however, has remained a mystery. to the public.
Oh, please. Devin Haney is making the same mistake that a lot of young guys make as soon as they get some money.
You get yourself a trophy wife or a trophy girlfriend that's really only interested in your money and how much of it you're going to spend on her. Because if you didn't have it, she wouldn't be with you.
Everybody knows that.
Lena Sayed is not to Devin Haney what, say, Jordan Plant is to Caleb Plant.
What Samantha Irving is to Ricochet.
Anybody can see that outwardly because we see situations like this all the time. As soon as these young guys get a little bit of money,
they pull one of these parasites.
Devin Haney confirmed via Twitter that he is expecting his first child with Sayed in January of next year.
Jesus Christ.
This lines up as Sayed referred to the pro boxer as her baby's daddy. There's been widespread speculation, however, as to whether the couple are married. Several outlets broke the news of Sayed and Young Thug's story by referring to the former as Haney's wife. Neither party...
Jesus, he puts a bun in the oven and he marries the broad?
Devin Haney is a lame. Devin Haney strikes me as a guy who is homeschooled.
Money doesn't change that.
Just the act of having money is not going to unlame you for the lame duck that you are. And we know you're a lame duck because you actually got this broad pregnant.
For what?
Are you stupid? Didn't your daddy warn you about this? He's allowing you to make the same mistake that so many young athletes make as soon as they get some money.
That chick don't care about you.
And why do so many young athletes want to share the same women, pass around the same broads as other athletes or other public figures? You're making out with the same cum buckets.
Why would you want to make a commitment to Young Thug's ex-girlfriend? Does it make you feel like you've made it that you're sleeping with the same women that he is?
Because if you don't, you won't end up in a situation like this one, and you can downplay it as much as you like.
You're a John.
A mark, a lame, an easy target for a Lena Sayed and every other girl like her. They've got more cunning and more street smarts than you do.
You're a dork.
Dress like one. Spare me the tough inner city street kid shtick. Devin Haney ain't that. Devin Haney...
He's a lame.
So many people are chiming into this love triangle if you want my 2 cents. The problem these young athletes have when they end up in these predatory relationships is they validate themselves
through appearances. The appearance of material wealth, material possessions.
Material girls. Simple question. If Devin weren't making the money that he's making right now, do you think Lena Sayed would give him the time of day?
No.
If you want to have your fun with a woman like that, oh, you can. But what you don't do is get her pregnant.
Lame?
Devin is a lame. He's just a lame duck athlete, another one that has more money than he knows what to do with. So he's going to fritter it away on some broad.
Which is his prerogative.
It's his money, and it's his life, though outwardly, know what time it is, and we know what kind of woman this is. And this is who you've chosen to sire your first child. Young Thug's old cum rag? That's what I think. When you lie down with dogs, you end up with fleas.